Hi, my name's Adam Proctor and welcome to our virtual booth. I'm just here to kind of give a basic introduction to the series of clips you are able to watch when you come into this booth, and that will be on a loop. So basically, my name's Adam Proctor. I run a BA Games Design and Art course at the University of Southampton and within Winchester School of Art. So we're a Russell Group University, which means we're very research-led, and we're over 150-year-old art school. And we need to lean quite heavily on those things in terms of the types of projects that we do with our students. And so hopefully you'll get the idea from the projects that what we're trying to do is create students who are critical thinkers and critical makers, and who are curious about how they can tell stories and have impact on players through the things that they create. And so we have a small cohort of students, 25 to 30 students per year, and we have a real diverse mix of students, which I'm really pleased about. So we have a really good mix of genders and a good mix of differing backgrounds and neurodiversity. So it's something that we've been striving to lead on, is bringing more diversity in through our program, and then obviously into the games sector. And we've had a great record of employment from our program, which started only in 2014, so a little while ago now, but not that long ago. So what you're going to get to see here is a bunch of projects, little sort of documentaries, trailers from some of the games that have come out of the studios that we work in here. All of our students work in small teams, and they work in the art studios, you know, creating the work together when they are allowed to be together, obviously. So we hope you enjoy the showcase, and if you're interested in seeing more about these games, then do follow the link tree. There's a website that showcases the last 2 years worth of all the projects from final students. And if you think these types of projects and the types of students that we're creating would be of interest to you, or you'd like to discuss further about how you might do a project with the University of Southampton or work with some students, then feel free to drop me an email and I will get back to you. We are very keen to work with different industry partners to do different types of things, and so we are very keen particularly on projects that relate to games for change, games for good, and, you know, games that have a big societal and cultural impact, and extending things beyond just being purely entertainment based. So I hope you enjoy the clips, and feel free to get in touch.
Ho Ho Heal Me is a cooperative four-player game.
You have a group of friends who sit on a couch and it's like a party game, so you play together.
It's great to see reactions of people shouting at each other.
The players have to look after each other. So instead of shooting, you have to heal.
There's 4 different characters. They are all healers, and players have to pick up a colour in the environment and go and heal one of their teammates, which is the same colour.
It's a game meant to induce stress. It's a great team experience and a bonding exercise.
I healed you!
We're designing it for the Nintendo Switch. We really had to work as a team together.
I have learnt how to code. I'm using Unity.
It's all been a Moroccan kind of aesthetic, and it's been really enjoyable to look at all the different patterns and shapes. I'd love to take Ho Ho Heal Me forward, so we're planning on taking it to publishers.
So our game's called Portage. It's set in the Canadian Boreal Forest, with the premise being around the idea of portage, which is the carrying of a canoe as well as any luggage across land between two bodies of water. So we've taken that concept and we've paired it with this natural environment to create quite a relaxing and mindful experience that the player can go through.
My role as game designer, I've been really paying attention to the player's experience. That's what I'm passionate about. So how the player interacts and really gets that correct feeling and emotion that we want to evoke in them.
So when we're discussing what mechanics go into the game, we often sit down and we're discussing step by step what process it's going to be. So for like the player moving, we're like, well, what button is it going to be? And then we figure out how is that going to be coded in. We flowchart it is often what we do. We've got a big whiteboard and we just draw out how the step-by-step process of implementing that mechanic is.
When we were designing a character, we wanted it to be almost a vessel, so quite a blank slate. So we've kind of kept it all quite minimal. And so the player can be like, that's me, and kind of relate to them, and then just control them around. And then they feel like they're more in the environment.
Is to really introduce a mindful experience and environment for the player to go on while they're journeying through nature.
And that's sort of the core focus of being mindful, is sort of being in the moment, not thinking about what you've just done or what you're about to do, but just being how you are at the moment.
I think mystery in games is something which it's just gone away. When games were so simple that you couldn't really tell what was happening, you had to kind of figure out for yourself. I think that mystery is kind of gone because people know beforehand what they're getting. They want to know how many hours they're going to play. With puzzle games, you can bring that mystery back. I think with Denizen, I've tried to do that a bit. Denizen is a 2D puzzle platformer created in a world of found objects. I wanted it to look like it's been assembled from things you might have thrown away. I start by just doodling shapes, and then I assemble them in Unity and then create characters from those shapes. And the player must navigate the environment with the help of their companion character. I think I wanted to make a game which was more about using your brain and not so much just pure skill.
What was your role on the project?
So I was mostly acting as the creative director, so that involved a lot of artistic decision making, but I was also involved in doing a lot of the concept art and a lot of the turnarounds to help with the 3D modelers and some of the particle effects as well.
So I was project lead and 3D artist. So I was tasked with trying to put all the elements together, make sure that kind of things are being done. I guess my main developmental role was working on environments and animations.
What was your role on the project?
So I handled the Unity implementation and programming of Gloria. So there was a lot of C# work in Visual Studio, and I generally spent a long time working on getting the mechanics to work, the actual interactions themselves, so all the wiggly lines. Yeah.
I was asked to come up with the design and develop on game mechanics that could represent musical interactions that by the end of you had a sense of understanding and connection between you as the player and the NPCs.
What was your favourite part of making the program?
Well, I've always really loved designing characters and creating or coming up with ideas for the worlds that they could inhabit. So the character design was really fun for me. I just really loved letting my imagination run wild.
The initial conversations and design talks were really cool, and working through the mechanics was nice, and there's also a level of satisfaction with getting the mechanics to work, figuring that out. That was quite cool. Like when the first time I see it working is cool, but above all of that, when you see like people gathering around to look at and play your game, there's something really special about that, and I couldn't take that for granted.
What was the hardest part of the project?
I think design logistically was the fact that we didn't want to use any talking or dialogue. I'm trying to get mechanics that people could understand without needing tutorials, worlds that people could navigate without needing like directions.
It was quite an abstract idea, having to come up with a way to show understanding, because it was more showing it without words, and that was a real struggle. It was having to figure out a way to represent this audio in an organic way without feeling detached from, sound.
The game speaks volumes about loneliness, of course, which was our original research topic. It's all about communication and how that's the key to overcoming these barriers between people. Like, it's just all about bringing people together, really.
Just approaching them as a complete stranger and talking to them, even if it's with your violin, means a lot to them and makes their days, I guess, much better.
We've got a lot of little stories being told throughout the whole game. That was kind of the point. We wanted loads of tiny little narratives interweaving. We've got one that's like, it's okay to be different, and that's nice. And it's okay to be alone, and most of the time you're not alone.
Like a way to connect would be find someone who can do what you do, and well, in this case it's music, and connect through that. It's just that music happened to connect with everyone.
Hey, I'm Sid.
And I'm Abby.
And we are the co-founders of Flight for Pair. We are a UK-based indie team who loves creating narrative experiences for people to get lost in for a little while.
We're newly established and working on our debut game, but before we go any further, there's somebody that we want to introduce you to. Her name is Maeve. She's the one on the left with the antlers. She has a magic book in a satchel she inherited from her father. She's important to us, important enough for us to make a whole game about her. Maeve is a travelling storyteller. Her magic book brings her stories to life. She's just arrived on an island that she used to call home, but she hasn't been there in many, many years. Figuring out why is what this game is all about.
Maeve is a single-player narrative adventure game. It's a game about who we become after we have experienced loss and grief, and how our stories can bring us closer together. As Maeve, you will explore the beautiful, fantastical environments that make up the island she's just arrived on.
Those environments hold all sorts of things. Secret memories, rich history, but most importantly, other creatures, each struggling with their own difficulties and their own demons. Maeve bonds with these creatures through shared experiences, which, in turn, unravels her own past. She does this through the stories that she tells, which you get to play too.
If you love Maeve as much as we do, come join us over on our Twitter at Flight4Pair, or check out our website, flight4pair.com.
The adventure is just beginning, but we're happy to have you along for the ride.
Bye.
Bye!